Welcome back to the So Over It podcast
with Enya and Jordan.
And Jordan and Enya.
Eight, my boots booting, baby, you're driving me crazy. Welcome back
You lost the key on the floor there.
What?
You lost the key on the floor there.
Yeah, pick it up, sniffles. Anyway, so Jordan is a bit under the weather at the moment. He got a cold from the cold weather, which is impossible and it's a myth. So if you actually did attend biology class in secondary school, you'd understand that you don't get a cold from the cold weather and it's actually a virus.
So my life's impossible and I'm a myth, Grant.
It's a myth.
Love that.
Colds are not caused by cold weather, alright? Let's just get that out of the way. Okay.
Welcome back anyway. Yeah. How are you?
Grand. So we were out the weekend.
We were.
Yeah, we were out.
We were out midweek as well.
We were out on a Thursday night in the George, which is probably one of the best nights to go.
It
and
is. Davina, we love you.
Yeah. Are they're still doing the Petty Little Things podcast, aren't they?
Yeah. Indeed, yeah.
I actually featured on an episode of that if you want to go listen to it.
I'm about to be featured on one, so keep your eyes out for that. If it actually happens, lol.
But we went on a Thursday night. It was very last minute, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And do you know what I did? It was the first week back basically because I know a lot of nightclubs only got their late license on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we went in, we got a few pre-drinks, and I thought to myself, there'll be a little bit of a queue, be kind of busy.
I actually forgot about that.
We waited 40 minutes in the queue. It was the longest I've ever had to wait since I was 18.
We walked down from we walked down from Stephen's Green Flats, didn't we? And we were like walking, and I was like, grand, no even queue, because normally you need to queue for the George, like up St. George's Road, whatever it's called, it's up George Street, like. And I was like, there's no queue. Turned around the corner and the queue was like down the whole alley. Like I'd never seen it as long in all my life. And I walked to the door and she was like, yeah, you're going to be about an hour on that. I was like, fucking hell.
And we nearly were. I think we got there at about 9:10. We didn't get to the George till
in fairness, but we still had to queue. Like.
It did, but you know what? I haven't waited in a queue that long.
No.
I don't think I've ever waited in a queue that long to get into a nightclub.
Not even for a concert, I mean.
Like, yeah, that's true. And you know what? I thought it was going to be a lot worse when we get in there. Like, I thought it was going to be elbow to elbow, like fucking coppers on a Saturday night. And it actually wasn't that bad. Don't get me wrong, like, there was a bit of kind of like, the queue for the bar was about 2 or 3 people deep, but you got served straight away. Like,
yeah, now like 2 full, you can slide in anyway.
Yeah. Dirty. But yeah, no, the max I'd be waiting would be like 2 or 3 minutes, and you were waiting, you and Kev, me and my friend and Jordan, they were waiting like fucking nearly 20 minutes.
Literally, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they don't save you. They just don't like to look at you. They ignore you.
I just
they
think
treat you like you don't exist.
If you're a man, like, you just don't get served.
Yeah, wow.
If there's any justice in the world. Anyway, but a night out on the George, highly recommend it. It's fucking great crack.
Wasn't it just great to be like hearing gay music and in a gay bar and like around gay people and just it was
no masks, queue for the toilet. Oh Jesus!
People pushing you. I loved it.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I was like, you know what? If I was ever going to catch COVID, it was here, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. And I didn't have one cigarette.
Yeah, actually.
I only smoke when I drink, like, but that's the only time. But I didn't have one smoke at all. Not one.
Fair play, Jim.
And I was that drunk at one point in time, I was contemplating on asking someone for a cigarette. Like, you know me, I'd never do that.
Yeah.
But I was like, that
bad.
I want to fucking smoke, I said. But I didn't do it, and I was proud of myself.
But we were only saying queuing up that the reason probably why it wasn't as packed inside is because they've like done up the smoking area, and it's like huge now. It's like a fucking beer garden. Like, so I'd say a lot of the smokers sat out there.
They should give us a free night on the George, so all the publicity we're giving.
I know, but the reason we love it is because just the crack they have on stage, like the games, they drag up the audience, the drag queens are gas, like they really know how to get the crowd going. It's like a comedy show,
and it's
really,
like
isn't
home
it?
as well for us. We literally lived there at one point in time.
Whether you're gay, straight, in the middle or whatever, like it's a place for everyone. Like, I love it, and it's a place we can really be ourselves, isn't it?
No judgment whatsoever.
No judgment whatsoever.
You can be anyone and do whatever you want to do.
I've often turned up in a pair of runners and all like that, and like no one even bats an eyelid.
Literally,
it's great.
Ball.
Yeah.
So, how was your other night out?
So I went to the George with you. Jesus, I was out 3 nights in a row last weekend.
Yeah,
remember the first week of January, I was like, I'm not drinking until the end of February.
You said that when you came back from Dubai.
I would never hold my breath if I ever say anything like that. But look, there was a time I actually gave up drink for like 6 weeks, and I have to say it was very liberating. It's hard, like, when you're in the cycle of going out every weekend, because you feel like sometimes if you're out there working hard and it's, you know, You're getting up early every morning. You feel like you deserve it when it gets to the weekend. Then you're like, oh fuck this! I need a drink. I need to go out and socialise. Like you don't want to like walk to. You don't want to live to walk. You want to walk to live. Do you know what I mean? But I went out on the Friday night then. Where did I go? I went up to my local Boomers. Literally just had 2 or 3 drinks, right? But there was these 2 lads there, and I'd say they're in their like mid-30s, and it was busy enough. Like I have to say, there was a lot of like there was a lot of functions going on downstairs, like areas booked off. And these 2 lads recognised who I was, right? And they were like, oh yeah, and they were like real like smart arses, but like they thought they were being funny. And I just didn't give them the time of day. They're like, oh, give us a laugh. You know those lads who like slag you with a straight face, and they're like, I'm only messing with you. So anyway, I didn't pay them any attention, and they were sitting right beside us. So they come over to us and they're like, what, you drinking and all, blah, blah, blah. Can we get a picture? They got me a drink and all. And it was like that was their...
You took that drink quick enough though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It was like their ticket to just sit with us, right? For about an hour and a half. Now, they were out of their head, right? That's another fucking thing I want to talk about. They were out of their head, right? They wouldn't shut up. They wouldn't leave me alone. They literally were hanging out on my lip. They just couldn't take a hint. I actually ended up going home early. I was like, fuck this. I was like, and they looked like the type that would literally be looking for an argument. You know, like they'd start on you if you kind of like talked out of turn. And then like when we left then, the owner of the pub texted us and he goes, did you know them lads that you were with? And I said, no. I goes, they wouldn't leave us alone like all night. And he says, yeah, because we fucking caught them in the jacks and we had to fuck them out.
Right.
Yeah. No. Look at you with your bleeding.
I know. Well, there you go. That would have been a more interesting story.
Well, there's Jordan's cliffhanger. No, they were caught in the jacks fucking doing you know what, and they were fucked out.
But you know who? Voldemort?
Yeah. He who cannot be named. But yeah, and it really like kind of just ruined me night, like pissed me off. And that's what I love about the George. It's just like people just come over, say hey, like, you know.
Have you ever been in their bathrooms and get caught by fucking some bastards?
I love toilets.
I hate the toilets in the George. Any gay fella can attest to this. It's horrible.
I know, but you said that last week. Like, what about the smell, or like just?
No, it's just like, I don't know.
When you're standing at the urinal, like, do they actually look down?
Yeah, you for real? Like, literally, it's a pure spot to literally look at each other's willies. That's why I'm like, give me a cubicle now. And there's only 2 or 3, I think. When you go in the girls' one, obviously there's a row of cubicles. But
there's about fucking 10 cubicles in the women's toilets.
Yeah.
And there was still a queue going all the way down the stairs, but there's a sign on the door that says strictly one person only.
So they can't go in the toilet and cop on.
Yeah, but and then Saturday night I went to my boyfriend's cousin's 30th. That was out in Nace. It was actually
like the name of a movie. My boyfriend's cousin's 30th.
No, that's a family tree one. But we went to a place in Nace. Do you know what? Actually, it was my first time properly in Nace. That town is fucking huge.
Is that where that place? What's it called?
The Osprey.
Yeah, no, that nightclub years ago that everyone used to go to up there.
Tripod.
I can't remember.
Time. That's what it's called. Time. Yeah. Like it's huge. Do you know what? Actually, I don't know. I don't know whether it's still there. It's that's where the Osprey is. It's just literally around the corner from it. Kildare. But the town is huge, and there's just loads of pubs and bars and restaurants in it. Like, yeah, I'd actually go on a weekend away there. Like, but we went there, and then his ma was driving, so we got dropped back down to Boomers. The local place was hopping again. Like, it was just so busy. Everyone was just out the weekend, and then yeah, it was just again like there was just like that's one thing I want to talk about. Like, cocaine is just rampant. Like, it's rampant. Like, you couldn't swing a cat in most places I've been to in the last few months. The last couple of years, like, well, actually, no, before COVID even, it's probably after getting worse after COVID. Like, you can't swing a cat. You're just looking around, right? People are just, their jaws are swinging left, right and centre. Like, their eyes are like fucking saucepans. Like, it nearly turns you off going out. It's like, can people not just go out and have a few fucking drinks anymore?
I feel like every generation had their drug, like, do you know
what I mean? Like, what were you saying, like, when your ma was alive, like, her era was...
I was alive, thanks for reminding me.
Sorry.
I feel like the 90s would have been like Ace, and like the 80s, like in America and all, the coke would have got real big over there. But
yeah, like, did you ever see that film Scarface? Like, that was based in the 80s, was it? Yeah, and then obviously died down and then came back again.
Like, psychedelics now became big in the 70s.
Psychedelics, do
you
know what?
LSD and acid now.
I've never taken any in my life, and I'll tell you why. Because a girl I did acting classes with, she was only 18. Now I think I was only in my early 20s. I went to like this acting school in town in Temple Bar, and she was so funny. She was so full of life. Like, she was mad hyper, and she was gassed, and like she would have went far, but she went on a night out. I think the place was called Twisted Pepper at the time. I remember, I forget what it's called now actually, but she went out and she took, I think, an A and literally dropped dead Dropped dead. It was so sad. And we had to all do a monologue the night before she died. We had to do a monologue, like an acting monologue. And I don't know which one I done, but her one was her talk. You know the film The Fault in Our Stars?
Yeah.
She was pretending to be your man at your one's funeral, reading the monologue. And then the day after, like, she dropped dead. It was so sad. And that's why I'd never ever take a chance with anything like that, like, because you just, unfortunately, like, you could be the unlucky one out of 1,000 people, like, so. But yeah, it's just, it's rampant, and you know what, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon, but sure, look.
Yeah, did you see that thing now about, in England, like, they're making being search mandatory?
What, going into nightclubs and stuff?
They're a bit, like, just for, like, gun and knife stuff, but then, sure, like, if you really wanted to bring drugs anyway, you would, do you know what I mean? Oh,
I want to see when I went to Ibiza, the fucking plane, oh my God. On any other flight I've been on, right, like, strictly stay in your seats, and this was during COVID as well, like,
on them flights, isn't
strictly stay in your seats, keep your mask on. People were getting up, swapping seats, not a mask to be seen, fucking buying drink for each other, in and out of jacks, like, I don't know what. Like, it's, and you know what, I think the air hostess just say to themselves, like, we can't control this, like, we just have to let them. Someone's popular.
So jealous.
Someone, like, you just don't know what people are like when they're out ahead. Like, they could start on them and all. They probably do it out of their own safety.
It's the same with drink. Like, some drink just doesn't suit people, and I don't know why they continue to drink.
I know. Like, oh my God, there's nothing worse than being around someone who can't handle their drink. No. Like, and they're so annoying. And you know what they do? They ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah, they do.
Like, do you ever go on a night out and I go, oh, so-and-so's coming off, for fuck's sake. You just know it's going to be hard work, and you
just walk away. I don't sit around people I don't want to be around.
If I'm not responsible for them, then like, up, see you later. Like,
look, I haven't got the time for all that. Like,
you
2022 is a new me. Like, I'm not even dealing with that.
I actually have to say, like, I'm very proud of myself so far. I'm still sticking to me, tracking my calories and all, and like doing my cardio and stuff like that. When are you starting your gym?
When I'm ready. Alright.
Oh, you said you were starting to soon.
I am, you guys. It's just difficult at the moment.
Yeah, well, you can see in your face that you're losing weight now.
Thanks.
But you will. It'll change your life mentally. I have girls coming to me just to train for their mental health.
I don't really like care about the whole like losing weight side, but I'm just doing it to get like more fit. But I walk. Do you know what I mean? I do get my exercise in, but I'm not like just there. Yeah.
Do you know what? Like, that's another thing about drugs and drink as well. Like, the after effects.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The mental health
really
side
felt
of
that
it.
This week, like I've never been depressed with a hangover in my life, and now I have.
I was actually reading on TikTok that like dehydration from drink can cause anxiety because your brain's an organ. It said basically like your brain's an organ, so if you're like dehydrated, if your brain's dehydrated, like it's going to obviously affect anxiety, depression and stuff like that. And like sometimes you wake up, and after those 3 nights of drinking as well, I was like, why did I need to go 3 nights? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, can you not just have a few drinks and then just go home? Like, sometimes you just drink and you're saying, you forget, and you don't know it because you get drunk and you're not thinking about pacing yourself then. Before you know, it's 3 a.m, you're fucking at the face planting a kebab and you're being put to bed. Like,
I went out on Saturday night and I was like, no, do you know what, I was so tired. I don't do makeup, and I was like, I don't even think I'm gonna go. I'm just so tired. And then you get up, you get dressed, and you go, and then you're there. You're like, right, where are we going after?
Yeah,
you forget all of that when you're out and you have a drink on you. You just lose all your inhibition. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, no, it is. It's, and you know what? I think a lot of people have this argument still, and I don't know whether you agree, that people who suffer with a mental illness and then people who suffer with their mental health after a session. Yeah. Like, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, 100% it affects. Like, they don't coincide. Like, drinking and doing drugs and all that stuff isn't going to help your mental health.
Yeah.
Because
it's an influence.
Yeah, I've even felt that the last week. Like, I've never felt anxiety and depression. That's actually what I'm so over this week. I'll talk about that in a bit, but I've never felt it as bad, and I was only out twice this week, but it's been such a long time that I was out for so long. You know what I mean? I don't know, just made me think mad things in my head. No,
you do always see things on Facebook and all, you know, you're coming out saying you're depressed and all and you have bad mental health. Well, then why are you going on a fucking session every weekend? Because that's not going to help you either.
I know, but you think it is in the moment.
I know, but so no, never does.
No, it's never.
Anyway, moving on.
The whole Mason Greenwood drama, that's wild.
Oh, don't get me started on that shit. Like, that just
fill the people in for what's happening.
Okay, so I'm sure everybody's probably heard about it anyway, right? Mason Greenwood is a 20-year-old who plays for Manchester United.
He's only 20.
He's only 20. Jeez. Right? So imagine what he would have been like in fucking 10 years. I hope he serves time. But anyway, he was basically exposed by his current girlfriend, then girlfriend, Harriet Robson, and I'm sure what ended up happening was it must have been like an impulsive thing where she must have been fighting with him, and she goes, well, fuck him, I'm going to expose him for what he is. Like, that's how it came across. She uploaded pictures of bruises, a busted nose and stuff, and she said, this is what Mason Greenwood really does to me. And then there was a voice recording, okay? Now, I think this is how he's not going to get away with it, because of this voice recording. Because I think anything else, she would have been called a liar. Those pictures could have been from anything. But he's basically in the voice recording saying,
lift your legs up.
Lift your legs up, Harriet. And she's like, no, I don't want to have sex with you, Mason. And all. I don't fucking care what you want. Lift your legs up. If you don't stop pushing me off you, watch what I'll do. Watch what I'll do. And it's horrible to listen to. Yeah. And for some, I've never been through domestic abuse, but I've saw friends go through it firsthand, and it's horrible. It's actually very triggering, and I think anyone who's going through it at the moment would probably, I'd advise not listen to it. It's awful. Or who else had a very traumatic experience with domestic abuse.
And then all the tweets as well. It's just like,
the amount of toxic masculinity out there. There's men coming out and supporting them. Like, coming out and supporting him. How is it rape if he's our boyfriend or she's his girlfriend? How is it rape if they were already having sex anyway? They weren't already having sex. He was forcing himself on her. It doesn't matter
if a girl says no, that it means no.
It's not like a movie.
If anyone says no, it means no. Like,
she doesn't have to be screaming, get at me. Like, you could actually be in a relationship and still be raped. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's absolutely awful. Like, I've had friends go through it. I've seen text messages. Lads who I went to school with, like, texting their girlfriends. Like, I've seen the messages. I've sat at tables, in gaffs after a night out, and I've heard stories. It's horrible. It's absolutely disgusting how they're getting away with it.
No.
It's disgusting.
When someone is in that situation, it's like there's no talking to them as well. Like, some people do, like, I'm not going to generalise everyone, but there is some people that do love that chaos in their relationship because it's all they know. Like, certain people jump from one chaotic relationship to another, and that's all they know is chaos, and they feed off of that and thrive off of that. I've been around girls like where they've been having arguments with their fella and the smile on their face when they're texting them back. They not saying that they do like it, but there's only so
probably
much
as bad as each other. Like,
yeah, they're probably as bad as each other, and it's so toxic. There's only so much you can say to someone if they're not going to listen to you. They're talking to a wall at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then there's other people, like men and women. There's men and women who grow up in homes where they were either physically abused or they were just.
And it could be the opposite though. Then they've grown up with that and they don't want that.
Exactly, it goes one way or the other.
Yeah, my sister's boyfriend would have grown up in a home where he didn't really have like love and support, and he had an alcoholic parent, and his other parent was gone, and he is the total opposite of that. If anything, he's the best parent, he's the best boyfriend, and he's a great brother-in-law to me. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show you it doesn't always come down to nature versus nurture. Yeah,
I know. Like, it's sometimes, like, you can grow up in a home and you feel like you're never good enough, and that's why you channel that into a relationship then, and that person makes you feel worthless then, and they prey on it. I notice as well with men or women, they know exactly who to go for.
Yeah, the weak spots.
They do. They know. They don't. Like, I've always been in a strong relationship, and I'm very lucky that I've never had to go through it, but I wouldn't, like, see, like, the likes of these scumbags and all like that. I wouldn't give them the time of day because I can see straight through them. I'd be like, I know exactly what you'd be like in a relationship. I wouldn't trust you as far as I could show you.
Have that. You have a great person at home.
I know, and it's just, if there's anybody out there who's listening and is going through it, like, your life starts the day you live. Yeah. It is.
And if you need anyone to talk to, text us. We'll always be there to listen.
If you live, it can't get any worse. Exactly. It can only get better.
From there,
do you know what I mean?
It's just about taking those 4 steps.
Exactly. So I really hope that cunt, and I never use that word lightly on this podcast,
give me,
like, rots in prison. I mean, rots and gets. Do you know what it is as well? It's the power thing. 20 years of age, probably a millionaire.
Thought he was the best thing.
Power tripping, thinks he can fucking get away with anything. Spoiled little brat. Even in the recording, you can hear it. He's trying to get his own way.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
It's gross. So, on a lighter topic, what do you think about Rihanna being pregnant?
I think it's lovely, but I was reading someone's story the other day, and it was like, lads, delighted she's pregnant and all like that, but this is going to be kept under wraps until that baby's born. Like,
yeah, I saw TikTok months ago. I think I saw it in like Halloween time that she was pregnant.
Yeah, I text you actually. I think as well.
The Savage Fenty beauty show that she was doing or whatever, and the way all the clothes she was wearing, like, people are saying she's pregnant, and turns out they were right. I feel like them pictures were from ages ago. Like, she probably had that baby and all.
Really?
Kylie Jenner had that baby as well.
Yeah, there's loads of conspiracies going around about that.
Yeah, a little boy she had.
Really?
Yeah, a little boy.
And has that been, like, confirmed officially?
Well, it's leaked, but there is always a truth to a lie, isn't there?
Yeah, I suppose. But in terms of Rihanna, I seen, like, someone on their story the other day, yeah, delighted for her and all like that, but let's be honest, like that's just no other news is going to come of this. I want like a I love the Z-list celebrity pregnancies where like they're doing a deal with like Heat magazine every week and they're
every
like
detail, like I breastfed on Tuesday and right hit like
like that's like, what was your one, I forgot her name now, but all like these like Towie stars and like Geordie Shore stars, like
the tack ones,
that's how they make their money, like magazine deals.
I feel some people feel like they fucking know Rihanna themselves, like, oh my god, so happy for you, girl, like, wow, like, calm down, you don't poxy now, Rihanna and ASAP Rocky.
Thanks, hon, appreciate it. How's you and the hubby?
Yeah, imagine she was texting back on, how's your baby? PM me.
Like, I don't know, like the whole, what do you think of celebrities like not putting their kids in the limelight? Like, I can agree to an extent.
Yeah, like, but then when they already are in the limelight, like, what does my head in is when there's like multiple pictures of them, videos of them, and then they're posting on Instagram with like apples over their face.
Yeah.
I'm like, will you cop on? Like, we all know what your child looks like. Why are you putting over the mountain now? Like,
and I think it gives the paparazzi more ammo to like go after them.
Yeah, but that's back in the days. Remember, like when it was like the Britney paparazzi era, like the way kids would, like celebrity kids was such a thing, like Angelina Jolie's kids and Zoe Cruz.
Michael
and all
Jackson
them.
with his kid over the balcony.
Oh, stop
Do you remember
Blanket.
Why the fuck did he put his child over the balcony?
I haven't like he was a mad thing. Wacko Jacko.
I just don't understand it.
Some people's like parenting methods are mad as well.
Yeah, like I hate this whole stigma as well. I know we talked about it on the podcast before, but like when you get married, when you're having kids and all, like to be honest, like there's a girl I follow and like she had a baby and like she won't put her face up on Instagram because you know what happens? You get too many fucking Karens having an opinion and they're like, oh, you shouldn't be holding your child that way in the picture. Oh, you don't birth them like that. And like you're a first time mother and like this person who has 10 kids is coming for you being like, give me a chance, will you?
It's up to you, whatever you want to do. Like Leanne from Litwick, she doesn't post her kids, but Perry does.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind posting them, but it's the whole like, hey guys, like putting them in videos and like, oh, he's just not sleeping, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, but then you're asking for it. Like if you put stuff up like that, then you're opening the floodgate.
And the whole like, I suppose, anytime I put up a picture with Gara, I'm not messing. Like all I ever get is just like, when he's getting engaged, when's he gonna like pop the question and stuff, and I'm like, people don't understand, like we all have different circumstances.
Yeah.
Like what if I'm already engaged and people don't know? I just didn't broadcast it.
A lot of people think you're single.
Why?
I don't know, every time I talk about you, people, like, because I always talk about her, people will be like, does she have a fella? And I'm like, yeah, she's with him since she's about 12.
Yeah, jeez, that's mad. And I wouldn't mind, but he's always on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Like there's times where I don't really put him up, but like he doesn't really like being on camera. But in terms of like getting engaged, like we have our own like reasons why we're not engaged or whatever, and we want to get our own house first.
He's aren't in a rush.
Because like I'd rather have a mortgage sorted. You can get married whenever, but you know you can't buy a house whenever.
What's the point of getting married and going home to your like fucking box bedrooms to do
yeah,
it? Like, do you know what
exactly. I know.
It's a bit silly in that way.
And then there's the thing of like when you get your house, like you don't want to start saving for a wedding straight away either. You only have to save for that.
It's not like the way it used to be years ago. Like, sorry, Pauline, your house was fucking £2 to go away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's why, and obviously the amount of people who text me that like probably won't even listen to this podcast, but it does get annoying after a while. It's like, fuck off, like it's only our business, like, do you know what I mean?
It's none of your business.
Yeah, like a lot of influencers, you see that, like when you're going to have kids and they're like, none of your business, like it's why does it matter to you?
Yeah, speaking of influencers, what do you think about getting verified?
Getting verified, yeah, like people think it's a huge deal and stuff like that, and it is, because it's, if you feel like, you know, I suppose
you're official, like you've gotten your approval.
Instagram know who you are.
Yeah.
But basically how I had to get my blue tick is I got it a few years ago. You have to basically send because Facebook own Instagram as well.
Articles, isn't it?
You have to send them articles with your name in it so they can prove it's actually you. You have to send them your passport, you know, TV appearances on YouTube and stuff, so they know like you're a real person. And it takes a while. It takes like a month or so to go through.
Yeah.
But my agent who gets me like my branded video deals and stuff like that, he has a lot of contacts in Facebook, so I got approved. I think I was approved on Instagram or Facebook. It was one of them first anyway, and then a few weeks later it was the other platform. But yeah, like it's I don't know, like you look back now and you're like, the novelty does wear off. Like I don't even see that blue tick now when I go on my page. But whereas the likes of my close friends, like they would
feel like, I want to text someone with a blue tick.
Yeah, like when they're looking at who views their stories, they probably just see the blue tick first. Do you know what I mean? Like it probably does draw attention, but to be honest,
I don't. When you look at my stories, I have to scroll down and see if you watch, man.
Really? Yeah. Well, I think the people who you engage with most appear at the top, don't they?
Yeah.
But in terms of like, I have like 96,000 followers, and there's some things I don't post on my story.
Yeah. Well, you do when you have close friends.
I have, and this is a little inside scoop here, right? I have a close friends list, right, and I have about 40 people on it that I trust, and I know I won't fucking video anything or screen record anything. Like, not that there's anything bad on it, but like, just let's face it, there's some things you can't put on
your... You don't, for the Karens as well.
Because of the Karens, yeah. And this is a little inside scoop as well. Like, there's about 10 other influencers, like really, really high profile ones. I'm on their one, they're on my one. It's because we all trust each other, and we know what it's like. We know what the industry is like. Do you know what I mean? There's some things you can't post on your public story.
Exactly.
And it's weird. Like, it's just, you feel like there's like a little circle of trust. Do you know what I mean? Like, look, I know you're not going to screenshot this because I wouldn't do it to you.
Exactly.
Because
I feel like that's the way we are with each other. Like,
exactly.
We actually talk so freely between each other, and we don't get annoyed or offended about it. Like, but if some people actually read their conversations, like, we would be shot.
Oh my God, shot.
Like,
like
I have so much on you, and you have so much on me. Do you know what I mean?
Jordan always like takes videos of me and the George now when I'm locked, but I know he'd never put them on social media. Do you know what I mean? And like, he just records them to send them to me the next day, and like, I do be in fits laughing, fits.
We actually got a fucking deadly one. I can't even say
what.
I wish we could talk about that.
Funny.
It was so funny.
Remember that one you took with me? It was literally a random night out. We went to the George, then Coppers, then we got McDonald's on the way home.
I put that up on your birthday.
Yeah, you did. And I'm sitting in your sitting room, and I'm literally like making love to a fucking
and it
chicken
like
legend.
The driest thing ever.
Yeah, and
I can hear every bit of it. It's like sand in your mouth.
And I'm like eyes in the back of my head. Jesus.
I love them nights. So
anyway, moving on.
So, like, what do you think about old people? Enya has an opinion on like
old
people.
Can
I just get my one out of the way first, right? I don't know if you do this, but like, I see people and I make like backstories to them in my mind. I like think they're like all home alone, they have no one to help them out, like their husband's dead, like all this and that, and then I just feel sorry for them.
Like, you make up a whole backstory?
Yeah,
I know.
And I just feel sad on them. Like, I feel terrible. I have to blow my nose.
Like, we were only walking in here earlier, and we seen like this little old man in a short and tie and all. Like, do you ever see those old people who literally like dress themselves up like just to go on a walk?
Yeah. Oh God, I love them.
Heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. And you know what? I'm sure they're probably happy as Larry, and there we are, like, sobbing over them. You're just like,
I actually traumatized today.
I wanted to actually. I remember it was gone back a year or two ago. I wanted to volunteer for that charity alone.
Yeah,
it's basically a charity set up for like elderly people who live alone, and you can volunteer to go and like visit them, spend an hour a day with them. And I just thought to myself, I don't know whether this is selfish or not, but I was like, I don't think I could go and do that because I wouldn't want to leave them.
I know.
I think I'd like really torture myself.
I know.
You know, if I was to do something like that, I'd be going home and I'd be like, oh my God, I hope they're okay.
To being kids, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the way of life though, Jordan.
What were you saying then? Some people are bastards.
Yeah, I think there is some elderly people who look down on the young, right? Because even when I used to work in Extra Vision and stuff like that,
the hatefulness.
They come in and they're just so bitter with you. And then there's another thing as well where like you could be in a crowded area or you could be in a shopping centre, and they just like I could be talking to you, right, and we could be like up close, and they literally just walk right through you, not even saying excuse me. And it's like, sorry, do you like think you're entitled because you're fucking ancient? Like it pisses me off, it does.
Yeah.
Some of them are very rude. Like, they just think like, well, you know what?
Respect your elders.
And I always, like, on a plane and stuff like that, when they say, like, in the event of an emergency, like, you know, attend to yourself first and whatever, put, like, you know, when you get up on a bus and, like, let the elderly sit down, like, fuck off, like, bet you've lived your life, do you know what I mean? I still haven't seen the Taj Mahal.
I know, I would get up on it.
Yeah. No, I mean on a plane, like, attend to yourself first before anyone else. Fucking right,
yeah,
I will.
Do you say that even to put the mask on yourself before you put it on your child?
Well, I would anyway, every man for himself.
Yeah, that's it. So what did you say your top 10 things are?
So, my top 10 things, right? So, this is obviously one of the new segments that we have.
Yeah.
And the list that I have is top 10 things that pilots don't tell you, since you were just talking about flying things.
Go on, whack them off.
Right, so number 1 is morning flights are the smoothest. And you know what? Thinking about that now, any morning flight I've got on, it's actually always that little bit quieter.
Like smoothest as in like flying or to run?
Yeah, like to fly.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm sure to run as well. Like, I remember I flew over to London before, and it was just so peaceful. Like, everyone was just knackered tired, so they were just sleeping.
Yeah.
And it was just really quiet. Like, actually, that was one thing I noticed with Dubai. Like the
5 a.m. ones?
Yeah. Like the 5 a.m. flights. And the 9 a.m. ones too. But like I remember when I was flying to Dubai and flying home, the plane was actually full of young kids. And it surprised me because it's such a long flight that you wouldn't think that a lot of young kids would be on it.
Yeah.
But like Dubai is like a middle point between Australia and Ireland.
Oh yeah.
So you think like right, maybe, and that was like a week, 2 week. That was 10 days, like nearly 2 weeks after Christmas. So a lot of people could have been going home. But yeah, I was surprised like with the amount of young kids on it. Number 2, airplane breakdowns happen.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, but do they happen in the air or on the ground?
In airs.
Like, I don't mean to like store the pot or anything like that, but you know, people who say they don't want to get the vaccine because they don't know what's in it. I think to myself, well, when you're getting on the plane, do you have to see the logbook and see what fucking problems happened to it beforehand?
Yeah.
You know, like that's right. I don't know. That's going to cause controversy. But anyway, pilots do sleep. I always think to myself, many actually
they take turns on long hauls.
Yeah, they would.
All the staff do. They have beds.
Do you know on like those Australian flights, like some of them are double decker flights, and like they have bunk beds and all. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Is it bump or bunk?
Bunk
beds, right? Okay. Yeah. So like if they're doing like a 14-hour flight, they could like sleep for 3 or 4 hours. Yeah. That's mad, isn't it? Pilots, number 4, pilots eat different foods. I heard that one before. In case they have the same meal and 2 of them get food poisoning and they can't fly the plane.
That's gas.
Do you know what? Do you remember that incident that happened? And this is my biggest fear, right? Because it's something that I'm not afraid of flying, right? But something like this I'm afraid of happening. Do you remember that pilot who literally locked himself in the cockpit and like drove the plane into a mountain? Do you remember that?
What?
Yeah, he committed suicide. Like,
killed everyone on board.
Yeah. He was like, if I'm going down, you're all going with me, basically. Like, that is one of my biggest fears now.
Yeah.
Because at least they can.
It takes one person's like.
But at least you can control the condition of the plane and stuff like that and whatever else, because they check all that before you leave the grounds. Sorry, if anyone has a fear of flying, this is obviously not helping you, but like, yeah, that is my biggest fear.
It's like 1 in a million if a plane crashes, but a car crashes is 1 in 4,000.
Yeah.
So
there you go. You have more chance of winning the lotto. Number 5, bumpy landings are often done by pilots on purpose.
Just for the laugh.
Well, I'm sorry, the amount of bumpy landings I've had on Ryanair, like surely one of them it has been an accident. Like it's. Do you ever see a landing Aer Lingus versus Ryanair? Like you could still be asleep while you land on Aer Lingus, like, and then
smooth, like.
Oh, Ryanair, you might as well be in a shopping trolley going up a fucking garden full of gravel, like. Number 6, planes get hit by lightning. I wonder, do they get hit by lightning? You just don't know it.
That's wild, isn't it? You'd get magic powers like that. Shall manifest.
He said to me before we started the podcast, if you were a superhero, your name would be Time Jumper.
Yeah, she changes times around like what?
Yeah. But yeah, to be honest, like you're a tin can, 35,000 feet in the air. Like,
just giving me the creeps.
7, limited emergency oxygen while
why
flying.
are you even talking about this?
I know, I don't know. I just it to be honest, like maybe it's actually they don't like sharing this stuff with people.
The bad stuff, yeah. Because I just like actually a grand flyer, but the more I sit there and think about it, like I just get creeped out. Because if anything happened and it all went down, like you wouldn't remember step 1, step 2. Like I'd just be like, give me the fucking thing. Do you know what I mean? I'd shit myself.
But here's number
people shit themselves.
Here's number 8. Actually no, my teacher who I had in secondary school, she used to always be going away, right? And she told me before that a flock of seagulls flew into the engine on the plane.
And they went on fire?
Yeah, but they said they all had to brace for impact and all like that. They all had to put their head between their legs and everything. But anyway,
I won't be able to do that at my belly.
Number 8, turbulence cannot cause a plane crash.
Yeah.
Right. So I've heard loads of pilots say that, like people, like it's like going over a pothole. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So when do you ever see that video online? It's like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die.
Today.
So yeah, that's if anyone has a fear of flying, turbulence.
Have you had bad turbulence?
Yeah, to be honest, coming home from Dubai, like the turbulence was bad the whole way. Like the plane was just shaking. But there was actually a clip I saw online as well where there was turbulence, right? And I know this is bad, but there was a woman like wheeling the trolley down the aisle, right, with all the drinks on it, and she was pouring tea. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And there was like, they must have hit an air pocket or something like that.
Leviosa.
Yeah.
The things went up to the sky.
Hit the fucking ceiling, stuck to the ceiling. The bleeding hot water went all over poor Betty and all.
Yeah, I was on a little like small flight to Manchester, and trying to make that song in like a 40-minute flight. It was an hour and 10 minutes because of the turbulence. It was that bad. They had to circle around the bad weather, and it was in June. Like, and I'm not messing with the plane. It was like that.
Was it one of those charter flights where it's like propellers?
No, it was Ryanair. It was. I was actually shitting myself. It went pure dark and grey. Like Storm from the X-Men outside was snapping at Wolverine.
Like you're fucking flying into Hogwarts.
Literally, it was mad. Do you fly to Hogwarts? So you got a train.
No, but you know the way when in the Chamber of
car,
Secrets
yeah.
where they're in the car and they fly into Hogwarts. Number 9, avoid the coffee and the tea and water on flights. I heard this before. Someone on TikTok said this.
Oh, I drink bottled water though. That's alright.
I think if you... well, I don't know. Hold on, this is what it says. A pilot won't tell you this in person, but one writing on Quora advises that you should avoid airplane coffee, calling the onboard potable water used to make it disgusting. The Wall Street Journal investigated the quality of onboard flight water in the past and found all sorts of nasty critters swimming around. If you want to be sure that your water is just water, book up for something in a bottle or can avoid anything that uses airplane water. Ugh. No,
I always get ice. But that's probably just America.
but like seeing the likes of Spain and stuff like that, like you can't drink the water.
Oh, the ice,
I
yeah.
think my boyfriend got food poisoning because of the water. Like they say don't even brush our teeth with the water
Oh, yeah.
over in Spain.
Yeah.
Are they ever going to get that fixed or what's the
I don't
story?
know, what's the crack with that?
That's going on years.
You would think because the water's so lovely and crystal clear that
Yeah.
air would be fine, and air water's like brown and we have like the best water in the world.
Obviously their sewage system is shy.
Yeah.
So number 10, pilots make seatbelt sign hours. Yeah, do you ever just be sitting there and the seatbelt sign comes on, there's not even a sign of turbulence?
Why is that?
I heard before that, you ever hear when you're on a plane it goes beep,
Yeah.
and that's to get the attention of the air hostess, and then if it
Yeah.
goes,
Beep, beep. Yeah.
if there's 3 beeps, there's an emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I heard that, yeah.
this
I saw that.
isn't...
Do you follow that girl on TikTok? And she's talking about like all the things that all the pilots do all riding each other and all. And the air
What?
hostesses, yeah, did you all like, you can ride
I've
on
heard
the
loads
plane.
of affairs and stuff like that happening.
It's mad.
Because you're spending so much time.
They have share apartments that they all live in, and like they share the safety by an apartment in New York, and they all just like store that shit there, and they go and drop their bags and sleep there, and yeah, but they all like ride each other, and their wives know to be at home.
I wouldn't...
There should be a reality show.
That's actually... Do you know what? I'd say working on a plane is probably a tough job if you have a family, because you are gone for like... You know, the long haul flights, and then sometimes you stay
Most of the
overnight
day,
there
yeah.
and stuff like. So I'm not surprised like some of them affairs happen. So that's the top 10 things pilots don't tell you. There's actually another 10 things, but we won't go into that.
We'll leave that for the next time. Have you seen Euphoria this week?
I haven't, but I've seen spoilers.
You haven't caught up, have you?
No, but the clips that I've seen,
Yeah, heavy stuff
like your man Nate, like he's just another
Psycho.
like that's a manipulator. Like that's
Yeah.
actually a form of domestic abuse as well.
He's a skit. Like he deserves to be in Look
Look at the fucking family he comes from.
Look at the dad, fucking weirdo.
But you know what? Like he actually plays it so well, because I look at him and forget he's an actor.
He's Australian.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
But I actually look at him and forget he's an actor. I'm like, he plays that. You'd actually believe he's like that in real life.
Yeah.
The way he plays it.
I don't think the acting is like top tier, but
Really? Yeah.
I don't think it's brilliant.
From him?
But yeah, for most of them.
I don't know now about that.
I'd love to say all the spoilers, but I can't. I don't want to ruin it for you.
I feel like I'm not even old enough to watch it. Like,
It's
yeah,
crude, innit? Like,
it's you wouldn't want to be.
Skids wasn't like that in our day.
You wouldn't want to be a prude watching it. I know we mentioned this last week, but like it's very out there. Like,
Yeah, humiliate me. Tell me I have a baby cock.
yeah. Tell me I'm a loser with a baby cock. Yeah.
It's wild.
And then just like that, so you finished it. I gave up on it. I just can't watch it without
was on
Samantha.
Thursday, so you can't get over the fact that Samantha's not there.
I just can't. She was my favourite character.
Yeah.
And can we just actually talk for a second about how toxic Carrie Bradshaw is as a friend? Like, Sean, me. Anytime one of them has a problem, she just reverts it back to fucking her. Like,
You're fuming.
yeah, I am feeling. I just just look back to the writers and I'm like, what way did you write this character?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, she actually,
They're all
want against her.
executive producers on it, so they have a big say in it
Yeah.
and how it went down.
Surely
so
they
it's
did.
their show as well now.
Surely they didn't look. They looked at the feedback like,
But I like it.
right,
I have
I
to
don't.
say I like it. We'll move on. Britney update.
Right, what's been
Loads
going on?
Like, did you see that she actually called Jamie Lynn scum?
Yeah.
You are scum, Jamie Lynn.
I need to follow her on Twitter, because that's apparently where all the fucking shit goes down,
she
is it?
chops and changes, but it's just wild. Like that, all that has happened to her. Fair play. I just hope to God that the Oprah interview actually happens. I heard that she's getting a $15 million publishing book deal.
You said that last week, yeah.
Did I on this?
Do you know I actually seen online last week Oprah interviewing the Olsen twins years ago?
Oh yeah, and talking about that weight and all.
And she was like, and you're always getting criticised for your weight and stuff. And they're like, yeah, you know, I mean, like we're teenagers, obviously we're going to go up and down. And Oprah goes, and what size are you? And they're like, oh, you know, we're tall. Like they were kind of like, they were a bit taken aback. And she's like, interesting.
Yeah, it was back then. It was just wild. They couldn't get away with it.
Yeah,
they couldn't get away with that now. But yeah, so hopefully Britney tells her sister to go fuck off and a bit more. Don't say about it.
I'm just dying to hear new music at this stage.
Yeah, and the rest.
And well, now we know at least why.
I get a fucking decent smoky eye.
At least we know now why Rihanna hasn't brought out any music.
Why?
Because she's pregnant.
I'm sure she's not bringing out music. She's doing it anyway. That's all done.
Is it?
Yeah, our album is supposed to be done.
No
she's
way.
Just waiting. That's gonna be like gonna fly off the shelf like.
Her albums always remind me of growing up, like when I was in secondary school, and then when I started going out to nightclubs like SNM. Yeah.
Remember everyone used to wear them Rihanna t-shirts with the chinos out top.
Oh, they were walking by themselves. Walking.
Only girl in the world.
Yeah.
With the red hair.
Everyone was wearing them. Make me feel.
What do you think about people that prioritise their pets over their children?
That was just like a complete U-turn.
I know.
I don't.
I am one of them people, 100%. Like, my dog is my life.
My friend was obsessed with her dogs, and then she had kids and prioritised her kids over her pets.
No, I couldn't give a fuck. My Nelly never been taken off her.
Oh no, I love me cat. I love me cat. I do. I love Dimna. I do. I just love cuddly little. Do you know what? Actually,
you're not a dog person.
No,
you're just such.
I know. I do like dogs.
Yeah, but like at a distance.
Yeah, no, but there are certain dogs I like. I like the calm.
Yeah,
the calm
not me,
ones.
Though. If we go back to a gaff and there's a dog there, I am in the corner being like, "Where's the baby? Where's the baby?" And you're just literally like Nelly. You hate Nelly.
Well, I think hate's a strong word, but
very dislike her.
I don't like dogs in general.
Yeah, that's because you're a cat person.
Like my boyfriend, out his back garden, his man's back garden, there's 2 dogs, and one of them is a semi husky, and she's like a big cloud, and I love her because she's so friendly and she's so. I don't like hyper dogs.
But do you go over and rub her?
Yeah, I do. I like fucking rub her face and like she's a bleeding.
I haven't seen this yet.
Teddy bear, yeah. And then he has an Alsatian. And it's like the size of a horse, and I'm not messing, if it jumps on you, it'd knock you off your feet. Like it's happened before, like I fell against the wall and all. It's so hyper, and like I just don't like that dog. I just don't like it. And there's sometimes where he's asleep on the ground and he's harmless and he's quiet, and I like you, right, I like you now. And you go to pet him and then he gets mad hyper again.
Yeah.
I just don't like hyper dogs. I love like golden retrievers and Labradors and stuff like that. Why are people so obsessed with Jack Russells?
I don't know.
Like,
I got Nelly because I thought she was going to be this little princess dog. Nelly is a Shih Tzu.
Is she?
Fucking far from it, little lesbian of the dog I have. She's just so like not a princess.
Really?
No, she's just a spoiled little brat, but she's not a princess. Even though she has a bow in her hair and all, she just doesn't. You know, what's Nelly like? Spoiled.
Yeah.
She's so bold.
But there's some dogs, and like when people put up pictures of them, and they're like pugs with their eyes are bulging out their fucking head,
like they're gonna drop dead 2 seconds on the last leg.
They look like they're trying to hold a coffee in, like
they're like that, trying to breathe. Like God loves them, like me. And then skinless cats.
No, like you get a cat that's fluffy and cuddly.
Yeah, but don't all cats shed? I
feel like you're hugging a dick, like.
Well, like, give me a fucking skinless cat up.
Oh no, I'm just not into skinless cats.
Yeah, no. What would it feel like? I'd say it would be like holding the ball sack.
Yeah, no, it would. But like, do you ever see these dogs as well? And they just
skinless cats, hairless cats.
Yeah.
I said skinless.
I was like, what? Yes, I'm only remembering now skinless. Just a fucking like bunch of muscles walking around,
turned inside out.
But like these dogs that like drool all over you and all like that.
I think you kind of have the head for that. Like
people, do you kiss your dog in the mouth?
No, it has happened before, but I don't purposely be like.
It has happened before.
She sometimes has kissed me mouth, but I don't purposely go.
Dogs like lick their arse and eat their own shit.
Well, it's like, but if you could shake a fella's hand, he's had to been scratching his balls 2 seconds earlier. So it works that way.
That's true.
And a dog's tongue is cleaner than anything. A dog's saliva can heal things.
Well, it doesn't smell like it.
They say that if you have a cut, you're supposed to put a little dog licker.
No. I hate when even a dog licks me. Yeah, those big sloppy licks. Yeah, I'm just a germaphobe. But that's why I love cats, because they're so clean.
No, you like cats because they don't go near you.
Yeah, no. My cat hates me, but I'd love a cuddly cat.
Cats smell like fucking... Cat piss smells like
No,
acid.
no.
Boards the nostrils off it.
Cats don't smell like cat piss unless they're like in the wild and they piss
Yeah,
on
but yeah,
themselves.
cat can smell like cat piss.
Yeah, well, that's if a strange cat comes in and marks its territory. Oh my God, I don't know whether I told this story before, right? But we had a stray cat out the back on time. And like it was really, really friendly, and I was like, someone owns this, like, and like Jimpany used to go at the back and like use the paw the thing into the face and all, like, this is my territory, this is my turf. But we were like, someone owns this cat, like it's way too friendly, like, and we put a picture on Facebook and someone got in contact with us, and it was actually only up the road from us. So what I did was, we had no cat cage, so I literally picked it up and put it into the back of my car.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
And the girl came down to collect the cat, and I put her, she was only a teenager, she sat in the back with the cat. And anyway, they left, right? The cat seemed very nervous, right? And I was like, after she got out, I was like, what's that smell? And it was in the height of the summer, right? 25 degrees. We all know how much hot air like makes something smell even worse. And I was like, looked in the back, and there was just this massive wet patch on the seats. I was like, that cat's at the fucking pissing.
Freaking.
It took me months to get the smell of cat piss out of that car.
In that car, yeah, nearly your head got back like that. It was disgusting. Your man be like, Enya, what's that fucking smell?
when you got into the car, like your eyelashes started wilting and off.
Yeah, your nostrils went 10 times bigger. The smell of it, like, I was disgusting. My eyes now were watering at one point. I was like, Enya, I'm after getting, you'd be snapping. You'd literally be like, there's no more I can do. I got the seat shampoo.
And still to this day, even with me new car, he gets in and he goes, smell like cat piss, and I'd be like, I don't even live with me cat anymore, Jordan. Oh no, it was so bad, and it took me months to get the smell out. Like, it was so bad.
Yeah, but cat piss is rank.
Yeah, oh no, it is. And do you know what that smell? Well, actually, yeah, piss in general, like cat piss in general, but they spray as well. They spray to mark their territory if they're in heat.
Yeah, like a skunk.
Yeah. Do you ever hear? Sometimes I used to be lying when I used to live with my mum. Be lying in bed. No, but like I've often looked at them out the window and she just cocks the arse up and sprays on a car, right?
That's what I do with the George. No, but like,
Mark's your corner, yeah.
Dog shite smells extra meaty. Like, do you ever notice that?
Oh no, George, I feel like gagging. Oh my God.
Shite. There is. You ever stand in dog shite? Like, they smell like you know it was dog shite. What? Does cats have a shit normal? I used to always think the kitty litter was their shit.
No, they don't shit gravel like.
I always thought the shit stones.
Nah, what?
I used to always think that was that shit.
No,
they have a little tour.
Cats always go in the same place. Like my cat always go in the same place in the back garden, and it's usually always where it's kind of like dry muck and stuff, like where moss is. But in terms of like if you have a female cat, they attract. A feline. If you have a feline, they attract tomcats into the back garden, even though tomcats. That's what we're telling me, man.
Like
what?
It sounds like hey, tomcats.
No, I tell you, we used to have like a fucking school of cats out our back garden, right? Because they all kept multiplying, right? Yeah. We used to feed 2, then they turned into 10, right? Yeah. And you'd open the door and you'd like groups running up for food, right? And my mum used to open the door to hang the washing, right? And she'd like, get out, fucking cats. She was like the crazy cat lady out of Simpsons.
That lives in that shit.
But no, they like Jim would attract a lot of tomcats to the back garden, and you'd be lying in bed and about 2 of them all you hear is
oh, the noise of them.
Like they actually sound like they're in labour.
Yeah. Anyways, I have a lovely little game of Would You Rather. Right?
Okay.
So we'll play a game of Would You Rather. You give me a question, I give you a question. My question is, would you rather, right, break up with your fella and him win the lotto the next day, or stay with your fella and him never win the lotto?
Yeah, but what's the conditions why I'm breaking up with him?
I don't know, that's up to you.
Okay, so let's say I like just don't love him anymore or whatever, and then I break up with him the next day and he's after winning the lotto.
You'd be fucking
but
sick.
I don't know he's going to win the lotto, so I break up with him right away.
Anyway, yeah.
No.
Well, no, what if you knew?
So I knew he was going to win the lotto the next day. Well, if I knew he was going to win the lotto, I'd pick the same numbers as well.
You look at you, you're smart ass, did you? Think about it. So what's your would you rather?
Would you rather do a client, you hear me?
Oh, do a client.
Oh, I have a good one, right?
Alright, go on.
Would you rather go off with your friend's fella?
Okay.
And never say anything, or go off with your friend's fella, have a one night stand and tell her?
Oh, that's difficult. I'd probably, I don't know, it depends like on the situation, but I'd probably tell her because I couldn't live in the lie.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't live
What if
with
he was
that
like
fake
massive looking? What if he was like Shawn Mendes?
Disney prince.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I just couldn't live a lie like that. Like being around him and the awkwardness all the time. I'd have
That
to say I'd
happens a
rather
lot.
just say it and get it out than leave it.
That happens a lot though. Like,
Yeah,
like
I'll leave it.
you know, girls going off with that fella's best mate and stuff.
And then being around him, then yeah, I know.
That'd be
of a
very
certain
weird.
girl that went off with our friend, or one of our best friends' husbands, and like she's a hairdresser and does her hair still. Is it that? Like, imagine like doing your once blow dry now and you're around her husband. Like,
Yeah.
go away.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't be into that.
It's
No.
wild. So, why are you so over this week?
Well, considering like all the shit that's been going on this week, I'm just so over toxic masculinity, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I was when I was posting about your man based in Greenwood, like the amount of fellas who would text me, yeah, but you're still following him.
Yeah,
I'm like,
not all men and all.
and I'm like, as if I wake up every day and go through all my followers and think to myself, right, who shouldn't I follow today? Like, I actually forgot I even followed him in the
Yeah.
first place. I wasn't even on his page. So I unfollowed him and I was like, that's all you have to take away from this.
Yeah.
So you seeing all the shit he's done, seeing all the posts I've said, seeing all the posts about him that I've posted, and your main takeaway was, I'm going to see if she's still following him.
Yeah. That's wild.
Like, that is the type of shit. Not all men. It's just, it is. And you know what? It's getting scarier because there was another attack in Kilkenny and all. Like,
Yeah, I heard about that.
I feel like we're going back in time and not forwards.
Yeah.
I'm just so over it. It's like, lads, if you're in a WhatsApp group, you know, if you're in like a football change room or on, and you hear some fella going a bit too far, talking about either his
pull him
girl,
up on it, like.
pull him up on it, because if you don't, he's going to think it's okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's just what I'm so over. What you so over, Jordan?
Like, mine kind of stems off last week. It's like my anxiety. It's wild. It's like, that's what I was saying about the drink and
Yeah,
the hangovers.
it does
like,
heighten
it's getting to you in a certain way. It doesn't help. Like, it's like when you're going through a lot in your mind, drinking and going out and all isn't going to help you. It's not going to get you where you need to be. You do need to have a clear head to be able to think properly. And
it's a catch-22 though, because when you're drinking, it releases hormones like endorphins, and you're like, oh, this is
and then
great.
you're on a serotonin come down then, yeah.
Yeah,
you
the
don't
next
have that
day.
love for yourself the next day, yeah.
You either have to go back out or just deal with it, you know?
The amount of people that like do silly things when they're hungover or when they're on a come down or whatever, it's mad. And yeah, I need to be able to like.
And there's a lot of people who
Come
don't
on.
like themselves when they drink because they make stupid mistakes or do
The
things
next day,
that they regret.
they live in the fear.
Yeah, the fear, and
the
they're like, oh my god, I'm just such a disappointment and all.
That's
And
what I was saying. My anxiety was up the wall because I think, oh god, what was I doing? What was I saying? And like I shouldn't have that nervousness in me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's time to actually give the drinking and stuff like that a
come here, like I
knock.
think that's why a lot of people do dry January, because there's so much of it over. Like, I even say like Dubai was too soon after Christmas with all the
Yeah.
drinking again. Like, and it does, it messes with your head. You know what? It's great to go out and have a good time and all, but then sometimes you wake up and you're like, it's not even worth the hangover like last night.
Yeah,
You know?
gone is the times when you could just sit in and have a curry, like, and with your
Yeah.
friend and just chill out
I know.
without
It's
having
just,
a bottle of wine or.
but the peer pressure as well. I don't know whether we spoke about this last week. Like, the ability to just be like, I'm not drinking tonight. What? Why aren't you drinking?
Yeah.
You looked at like you have 10 fucking
know,
heads.
yeah.
Like, I wish people would just mind their own business.
It's the same like if you don't do drugs and you're on a night out and people are like standing there offering you drugs and you're like, no, sorry, I don't do drugs. And people
Yeah.
are like,
They're judging you
literally
for not
someone
doing
that
it.
is doing drugs is judging you because you
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
do drugs. And I'm like, all right, Junkie Joe, calm down.
Chunky Joe. But like, it comes down to it as well. Like, I even give out to Garrett about this sometimes. He'd be like, you're coming up to the pub, and I'm like, yeah, Garrett, but I'm not drinking. Like, sometimes this happens. And then we get up there and he goes, you're really not drinking now? And I was like, no, I don't want to drink
You're
tonight.
trying to twist in your
I'm in
ankle
the
for
gym in the
one,
morning. And then the lounge girl would come over and she'd be like, what you want, love? And he'd be like, can I get a pint of Guinness and get her a large bottle of Ultra Taves? I'm like, Garrett, like, I didn't want to drink.
You're just enabling me.
Yeah, you're enabling me. You're a neighbour.
You're an enabler.
Yeah, but
You're then.
you're done. Sometimes it's nice to just go out and have one or two and that's it.
Yeah.
You know.
Or none at all.
Yeah, do you know what we should actually do, Jordan?
A dry
We should
night.
do this as an experiment. Go to the George, not drink. I'll drive in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we could actually do it this Thursday.
Yeah, if you want
I
to
won't drink.
deal.
We won't drink. We won't drink.
Drink,
Right?
right,
I'll
okay.
drive in, and then I
Yeah.
know if I drive in,
And
I
we'll
can't
go home
drink.
then. Yeah, okay, cool.
Right?
So that is it for this week, guys. Thanks very much for listening. It's
Yeah.
always appreciated. I think this episode is going to be available on YouTube. Am I right, Ryan? Okay, yeah, it's going to
Yeah.
be available on YouTube, so keep your eyes out for that. And we shall see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.